Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am currently GSF-less. As you can see, one of my tractors is behind me. So the orange car is off at the dealer getting the low pressure fuel pump recall done. And the blue car is at my Toyota MasterTech, currently getting new tires, new tire pressure sensors, and a couple other things addressed. So I currently have no GSFs here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our deep dive today. This is VIN 0708. This is a 2016 083, which is ultra white with LA30 red interior. And this is, before I proceed, it looks like it is going to be a salvage title car, or we're not quite sure yet, but it's not a ready to go car. So it's at Copart in South Boston, Massachusetts, with 75,000 miles with current title status unknown. So that could be clean title, prior total loss. It could be salvage title. Don't know just yet. That may change as it comes closer to the auction date. So we will see, we'll keep an eye on it. But it does look like it'll probably be a fairly easy fix. And so I'll get into my concerns with it here in a minute. Production statistics. So 648 out of the 2,348 cars for the US 49 were ultra white, and 361 had LA30 red interior. That's the most common color combination for these cars, white with red. 15.37% of all of the US 49 production had this color combo, so like a 1 out of 10. They're very common. For 2016, 372 out of the 1,418 cars were ultra white, and 214 had LA30 red interior. So this car is one of 214 at its rarest. This car was built December 16th, 2015. Its in-service date was March 5th of 2016. It has engine 2063895 when it left the factory. Has options 2Q, which is all-weather floor mats, D5, which is not very common. That is the door edge guards, so the little color-matched edges of the doors. That was a factory-installed option here. So it also has G4, which is the lighted front door sills, Mark Levinson orange calipers, V2, which is the glass brake sensors, and Z2, which is the comfort and convenience package, trunk mat, cargo net, key gloves, wheel locks, things like that. So it's a pretty heavily optioned car. Carfax. Epic VIN and auto check. So my 2026 Carfax shows this as a 2-owner, 1 accident in July of 2026, but it doesn't have anything after that. So we don't know what's going to happen to the title status. Right now, according to Carfax, it shows it as a clean title, but that may or may not end up being the case. There's no real further info yet. So there's no real further info yet. This is the second to last week of July 2026. My 2024 Carfax shows this as a 2-owner, no accident car, and it looks like it is a Massachusetts car its entire life. So keep in mind rust, things like that, because it is a salt belt state. Massachusetts does use sodium chloride, rock salt basically, to treat the roads in the wintertime. So if this car has seen a significant amount of winter driving, maybe something you need to look at. Epic VIN shows this as a 1-owner, no accident car, so obviously the accident's not on there yet. And AutoCheck shows this as a 2-owner, 1 accident car in July of 2026, so it just happened. Previous sales. So this car first went on sale in February of 2016, $88,500 in Massachusetts, and it sold in about a month to an owner in Massachusetts. January of 2024, $50,000 with 30,000 miles at Herb Chambers Lexus in Massachusetts. And there it looked incredible, looked fantastic, very well cleaned up, don't see any issues. I mean, they probably did a little reconditioning anyway, but it looked great. So now here it is 2.5 years later, and another 35,000 miles added at Copart in Massachusetts, end of July 2026 with a front hit. So now to the photos. It looks like now it's lowered and it has an aftermarket exhaust at a minimum, and you can see some carbon fiber in the engine bay, some blue carbon fiber, not really my thing, but yeah, so it's got some mods to it. The interior overall looks really great. I don't see any carbon fiber delamination, which is rare, especially on a car from the north. But if you look really close in the engine bay, like zoom in really close on things, you can see corrosion on things. And so, you know, it kind of gives way to the fact that this car's probably been winter driven, whether or not it has fluid film or something applied to the underneath of it, but there is some corrosion. So I would look at that a little bit further. If you are local to this car or near it, I would highly recommend, before bidding on it, go and check it out in person to verify how rusty or not it is. The closer you look, you can spend some time on looking at all the photos on Copart. You can see rust on the edge of the door. So again, it kind of makes me think that this car has been winter driven. So on the front, the carbon fiber on the lower bumper is not real beat up, So it kind of makes me think maybe it has paint protection film, or did at one time, but it looks in pretty good shape other than, of course, the accident damage. But the reason it's here is because it hit the grill. We know that that grill is like $12,000 or $13,000 to replace. It got at least one of the headlights, maybe both, the hood, the radiator support, the radiator, the condenser, you know, things, the usual things from a front hit. And so that's probably why it was totaled. So according to Copart, it looks like the insurance company paid out $43,717 for this car. So it seems pretty low to me based on the mileage, but you know, again, maybe there's something else we're not seeing here. But it sounds to me like they got shortchanged for an insurance payout. I would have gone after them trying to get much more than that. But the big one here is no airbags were deployed. So that is a big money saver. Generally, if the driver hits something up front, almost all of the airbags will deploy unless there is a light passenger in the passenger side front seat. But that doesn't matter. None of them are deployed here. It has a great looking interior, and it looks like it'll be a fairly easy fix. I think this one's probably worth saving. So that brings me to the price. Because this car needs less than what you would typically see that shows up for these cars at Copart, it's probably gonna sell for more as a result. Now, fixed as a rebuilt title car, so if it's a clean title, prior total loss, probably low 30s. If it is a rebuilt title or a salvage title and then you're going to rebuild it, it will probably retail somewhere around $30,000. Again, depending on how rusty it is underneath and what else it may or may not need. But as it sits, I would expect it to sell somewhere probably in the low to mid 20s, and that doesn't leave a whole lot of room for profit if you're trying to build this, fix it, and flip it. So if you're going to build it as a lower entry cost to GSF ownership, this is probably a great way to get started if you can get it around $20,000 or so. So now to the service history. The first entry of note is April of 2018. The JLB recall was done, so that is the high pressure fuel pumps. March of 2019, 17,000 miles, the 30,000 mile service with brake fluid being done, so that was done early, plus the front and rear pads were updated with the alternative compound, so it's a quieter compound. People complained about the brake noise, so this is a quieter pad that was installed at 17,000 miles, but didn't replace the rotors there. So July of 2019, the low pressure fuel pump was reprogrammed. That's the humming or buzzing you hear in the back seat. And in 2019, also the KLG was done. So that is the GPS location reporting incorrectly. That's also been done. January of 2024, 31,000 miles, 4 new tires. And so remember, it has 75,000 miles, so those tires are probably have been replaced. August of 2024, 40,000 miles, an oil consumption test was started. So obviously they had some issues with consuming oil or low oil light coming on. So they did that, and then a month later they came back and it was determined that it was not at this time consuming excessive amounts of oil. And they also noted it has a weird idle and an aftermarket exhaust. October of 2024, the right front door speaker was replaced. So you see that on occasion, not very common. December of 2024, 45,500 miles, 4 new tires again. So that last set was 14,000 miles, and then so now it's another 4 new tires. March of 2025, the TVD, torque vectoring differential, and the transmission were serviced at 50,000 miles. So it's another good thing you'd like to see on this car. June of 2025, 55,000 miles. They already did the spark plugs, so done 5,000 miles early, not a big deal. And also June 2025, they noted shifting jerky since the spark plugs were replaced. And so the tech put the transmission in relearn mode. So you can erase, it sort of develops a memory over time. So like a lot of example, the Lexus driving school cars, basically from when they were brand new, they were driven very hard. And so the transmission, the shifting points, everything else was used to that. And so then if you sold it on to the next person and they drove it around like grandma going to church on a Sunday, it's going to shift pretty erratically or things like that. And so you can reset the memory, and that's what they did here. So then in June of 2026, just a month ago, 72,500 miles, 2 rear tires was the last service along with an oil change. And so I think overall it's been pretty well serviced. I don't see any really red flags other than maybe brakes. That would probably be the only thing. So what else is not done? The ZLZ, but it is since expired about 3 or 4 months ago. HVAC servo sweeps, if you have any problems with the improper temperatures coming out of the vents, there is a fix for it, but if that fix doesn't fix it, then you have to replace some of the servos, and some of that requires the dash removal. And then of course the low pressure fuel pump recall, that the parts are finally available now. So here at the end of July 2026, so you can take this car once it's fixed, take it to the dealer, get a new low pressure fuel pump out of it. So that brings me to would I buy this car? I think I would, as long as it's not too incredibly rusty. If it is, the price has got to be significantly lower for me. Now, that's not everybody's situation. Now, some people don't mind working on rusty cars. I've had my share. You know, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, lived in Omaha, Nebraska, Denver, Colorado. I've kind of lived in the north, not the majority of my life, but for many years of my life. And I know what salt and everything does. And I'm still a car guy, so I'm still working on my own cars, and I absolutely despised it when you had to deal with all of the rust, you know, replacing a tie rod or, you know, things like that. It gets really frustrating, even brakes. So yeah, that would be my primary concern on this car, would be the amount of rust, and then it probably will need brakes. That's about it, but otherwise, if you can get it cheap enough, it seems like it's gonna be a pretty solid buy. So worth checking out, VIN 0708. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.